Hey, book besties. I have so much to show you and to tell you and to talk about this week. So, this past weekend was Independent Bookstore Day, and in Chicago, where I live, they do a Chicago Independent Bookstore Day. They call it a challenge, I call it a crawl, where there are 55 different independent bookstores across Chicagoland, like in the city and in the suburbs. And you go to as many as you can, and you get little stamps and stickers. And if you get 10, you get a card for 10% off at all of them for a year. And if you do 15, you get 15. So my family and friends and I went to 17. We were a little overachievers, and it was super fun. I actually kind of limited myself though as to how many books I could buy, because when we did this last year, I bought so many and I still haven't read them all. But I couldn't help but not like support some indie bookstores. So I'll do my haul really quick, and then we'll get into what I read this week. So first place that I bought anything at was Call and Response Shy, which is a store that only sells books by BIPOC authors, which we love. I just love the owner. She's really sweet. So first I got Blood Over Brighthaven by ML Wang or Wong, the author of The Sword of Kaigen, which I've heard good things, but I've heard so much good stuff about this. I think it's like dark academia, which I love. And they still had the sprayed edge version, so I saw this look cutie, although it's not cute. So this is called But Not Too Bold by Hache Puello. And this is a translated work from Spanish that is kind of a sapphic monster gothic fantasy. It's described as The Shape of Water meets Mexican Gothic. And I'm a little wimp, but it looked good, so I got it. And then because we bought 3 books there, my sister-in-law bought The Poppy War, which I'm going to borrow someday. They have ARCs, so if you buy 3 books, you get an ARC free. Not by a BIPOC author, but they had Offside, which is by Avery Keelan. And you know I love a hockey romance book, so I grabbed that. And then another place we shopped at was Open Books. You know I love them. I did my readathon for them, and they do both new and used books. So I saw some used books that I needed. I got Heartless by Marissa Meyer, which is a YA fantasy book that I've heard good things, but I've never seen it like out and about. So I grabbed that. And then complete opposite, I got American Queen by Sierra Simone. I have read Priest by Sierra Simone, which was so spicy, and she's like the queen of spice. And I've heard of this. The tag is, her name is Greer Galloway, and she serves at the pleasure of the President of the United States. Now, clearly not the current one, but I don't know. So those were the books I bought. I do have a couple that my husband got that I'll show you really quick. They were all from Powell's, and they're all history books. So the first is The Museum of Other People, Abandoned Children of the Italian Renaissance, Orphan Care in Florence and Bologna, The Other Resistance from Copernicus to Shakespeare. He's such a nerd. I love it. And then Mary Beard's How Do We Look? He loves Mary Beard. So that's what he got. My brother also got a bunch. My sister-in-law was there, and then my brother brought a friend. And so it was just a really good time, and I'm excited to do it again next year. Also, some books I've gotten recently, really quick, were my Fairy Loot and Illumicrate books. So the Illumicrate book this month was The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hogson, which she's thick, but I kind of love it. Caw. So we got The Raven Scholar. I'm running out of places to put books here. And then the Fairy Loot book was Where Shadows Meet by Patrice Caldwell. This is supposed to be like sapphic vampires, I think. And then also Firebird by Juliet Cross was the romantasy book. And I think I mentioned this last week, but a little bit of controversy surrounding this one because it's already in my hands. Like, I didn't know this was going to be the pick, so it's already here. I am going to read it and then see kind of how I feel about the dynamics and how it is approached, because I think some people who have given it the like, no, don't read this ever, didn't actually read it. So not that I don't trust people, I just like to form my own opinions. So that's everything that I've picked up recently. As you can tell, maybe my shelves are super full. I have a full tour coming, but I desperately need another shelf. Let's take a quick coffee break. I was getting too excited. Just one more chapter. All right. What did I read this week? So I finished 3 books and I have started one. So the first book I finished was Pucking Around by Emily Rath. 5 stars for the vibes, okay? This is a Why Choose Hockey romance where it's MFMM. So 2 of the guys do, you know. And as much as like it's a little too long, it's like really long. I don't have a physical copy, but it's like that thick. I do think that it was worth it. Like every time that I was like, oh, it's getting kind of long, there would be like a spicy scene or movement in terms of the plot for each of them. Like she's the team doctor, so there's kind of stuff about that. The one guy wants to do the Olympics and he has an injury. And then the other guy, Caleb, who's the equipment manager, is just kind of like trying to figure out his life because he got injured and that's why he's not playing. So I highly recommend if you like spicy and sports, this is for you. And then I also finished Obsessively Yours by Jamie Applegate Hunter. And this is the second book in one of her series. So the first was Viciously Yours, I think. That one is like, he's super over the top. But basically, in this world, the royal fae get a mate, and their name is like whispered in their ear when they're 13. And everybody's mate is born on the same day as them. So, like, they can figure out who it is by looking at like birth records and like whose name is what. And then but the royals can't leave their kingdom until they're 25. So in the first one, she lives in the human kingdom and he lives in his like kingdom that he's going to be the ruler of. So he writes her letters from the age of like 13 to the age of 25 that just get progressively more obsessive and like over the top, and then they meet and they fall in love, whatever. But then in this one, they happen to like be friends before he finds out that someone else is his mate. And so it's a little bit of drama. He's so over the top. Like literally, she doesn't like mayonnaise, and so he bans mayonnaise from the kingdom. Or like she trips over a rock, so he has the entire streets redone. He's so over the top. But I had a good time. I would give that one like 4 stars. And then I just finished the audiobook for Under the Oak Tree, which apparently, when I've learned, was originally a Korean like web comic, and then the author took the web comic and wrote this book. This is volume 1, which when I finished and realized that that means it's just stopping in the fucking middle of the story, I was furious. So this book has like no plot. Nothing happens. It starts off with a very intense consummation of marriage scene in which I feel like it is essay. There is a content thing that's like, oh, some of the sexual content might be whatever for most people. It did not explicitly state like, hey, this girl gets married and he forces himself on her. Didn't love. He also goes from that to leaving for 3 years. So like they have their wedding night, he leaves for 3 years to go do night shit. He comes back and he's like all over her again. And this poor girl has a stutter. She has a speech impediment. She's been like super abused her whole life. So didn't love this book. Gave it 2 stars. I don't like how there's no conflict. The conflict is she doesn't know if he likes him. Her dad used to be abusive. This guy starts being nice to her, and then she kind of learns that she might have magic powers. Like there's no plot. She like has to pick out tile for the castle, and she doesn't know how to do that because her dad didn't teach her. Didn't love that. What I'm currently reading, because after I read Obsessively Yours, I was like, you know what's been sitting in my Kindle is The Umbra King, also by Jamie Applegate Hunter. Having a lot of fun reading that. This is a story where there's kind of like heaven, purgatory, hell, and if you do a crime, there's like the scales of justice, like judges where you need to go. But if you end up going to purgatory, you like go there for however long they sentence you, and then you like go back. So this girl ends up, she witnesses the murder of her sister when they're like young, and so she's been trying to like find the guy that murdered her sister. And while doing that, she can like see how black someone's soul is, and so she has kind of become a serial killer and like kills people who are hurting other people. So like she's not killing she's not killing just random people. She is only killing people who are like trying to hurt someone or kidnap someone or whatever. But she's killed like 13 people, and she finally gets caught and sentenced to 500 years in the like purgatory. So she shows up, and the guy who rules purgatory, he is in charge of that because he killed his sister supposedly however many hundreds of years ago, because he's like a god kind of. So she's there now, And things have progressed, and I'm very interested to see what happens. And I'm sad that I put this book off for so long. And then I'm going to start, I think, thanks to my friend Jenna for texting me and being like, hey, so I started reading Zodiac Academy and it's fucking crazy and you should read it. Because I've been like, I don't know, it's so many books, whatever. And because she's a friend of mine who, like, say hi, Ellie. She's trying to get in my packaging. She's a friend who I've known since college, and she's never been like a huge reader like me. But as soon as she was like, I'm reading this, I'm like, hold on, let me catch up to you. So she's read two, and I'm gonna try and listen to them and catch up because I need to know. I need to know what it's all about. Okay, I think that's everything that I read. I showed you everything that I got. I'm like really tired because we went to the 17 bookstores yesterday. So honestly, I'm probably just going to spend the rest of the day chilling and reading. And I hope you get to spend time relaxing, go outside, touch some grass, listen to an audiobook. Remember to support independent bookstores. I know Libro FM and bookshop.org and a lot of the other independent bookstores are still doing like sales, deals, whatever. Actually, Libro FM, hold on, plug. Hashtag not an ad, but Libro FM, please. They have really good deals right now. Like you can get, how much is an audiobook these days? Like $20. You can get 4 or 5 audiobooks for the price of one. So go check that out, and I'll see you next time. Bye.